You know how we said like maybe a week ago that Gunn was saying all the right things? Well, that was probably because it was scripted. No, we have to talk about today. Obviously, most people know that the new Superman movie has gone into reshoots, and Gunn has come out in an interview and saying some things about it, especially with the knowledge of this insider who has told someone named Jeff Snyder that the movie doesn't look good at all. So the reshoots may be even bigger than what Gunn is willing to admit. So this comes to us from JB Augustine. James Gunn, Superman still called terrible by Insider. Reshoots may just be a ploy to drastically fix the movie. I don't really know. It depends on if they push back the release date. That's the only thing that it depends on, because if they're massive reshoots, they're going to have to redo the entire thing. Not redo the entire movie, but I think you know what I mean by that. It's going to push back the release date. So the rumor of Superman's quality is not dead, as the film is still being called terrible by a supposed inside source who spoke to a noteworthy podcaster, and that is Jeff Snyder. Previously questioned the buzz the big summer release has been trying to generate her from an anonymous source, and this is a source that he has used before, and that source proved to be correct. He said he has recently reported good things in the newsletter, but that guy called him out and said, nope, actually, you're right about everything except for the Superman thing. It does not look good behind the scenes. People are not happy with it. They have done actual test screenings, and it just isn't boding well in their favor. Now, Snyder didn't go in depth. He never names this person, and I'm sure that person was trying to keep their own identity as secret as possible, but just being like, hey, you might want to be aware. Don't drum up the hype. It's going to make you look like a fool in the end if it released how it is being released now. He also doesn't think Gunn is being entirely truthful, which could be due to the director's dismissal of the Daniel Radcliffe Clayface scoop as absolutely false. Now, good or bad, they're bringing in a marketing strategist to consult on Superman because the marketing has not been great. It's been very hit or miss. According to Mahler, whenever we first saw the first trailer, he was like, it wasn't underwhelming, it wasn't overwhelming, it was just whelming. There were a lot of things that fans were picking apart, and I think rightfully so. The marketing definitely hasn't been extremely good on any of this. James Gunn has been trying his best to say the right things whenever it comes to scripted, and maybe not scripted interviews, but interviews that he's aware of, that he's going into, so he knows the questions that are going to come up. But all right, so this strategist that they've called in to consult, this is Rocky Strauss. He's worked with Apple TV, Marvel, and Star Wars, things such as Moana, Frozen, Maleficent, The Jungle Book, and Cinderella. He also oversaw the production of Inconvenient Truth. That's way back in the day. The Help, and ironically, Waiting for Superman, which was a documentary. Now, these are all movies that did relatively well. Most of them have sequels, or are at least beloved. Can't say so much about An Inconvenient Truth. I think everyone knows that was false, but hey, that's not his job. His job is just to market it and get it to the consumers, build up hype. So that's what definitely needs to happen with this new Superman. Now, it is in post-production at this point, so they're stating, although they have done reshoots. Now, reshoots is something completely different than like pickup shots. And this is what Gunn is trying to tell us right here. He's returning to the soundstage for pickups, which leads some to believe he is secretly overhauling the film. Reshoots and pickup shots are completely different things. Reshots means you're reshooting an entire scene, an entire sequence. Pickups just mean like, oh, I need this reaction shot here. Oh, this probably wasn't in focus well enough. Let's go reshoot this entire thing. That way the visual effects artist can come in and touch it up and it can look like it folds seamlessly in. So we need to make that differentiation. Now, at the recent press event, however, he claimed to only be making small changes. After some feedback, we said, this is James Gunn, by the way, talking. We've done real screenings, definitely learning stuff all the time, definitely editing and making little changes, as one does. You know, we might shoot a couple little tiny things. All my additional photography is so hard because it's like I used to be kind of against it. Why would you be against it? Because, you know, you don't want to have to shoot again. It's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to shoot, period. There's a lot of work that goes into it. If you think that you have the Golden God edition right off the get-go, then why even bother doing test screenings? If you don't want to have to shoot it again because what you thought didn't work. This is also why it takes so long for films to go into production, is because I know I've said this so many times. It goes from spec script to true script to shooting script. And that's what the director and the producers are in charge of, is the shooting script, where you basically have to write out scene for scene, shot for shot, camera angles, lighting, everything like that. It's a very tedious and intricate process. But if you have that down, everyone can see, and it flows way more like clockwork when you're actually on set, because time is money and these things are costing more and more money all the time. I know you don't want to have to shoot again, but that's also why you take multiple takes of everything. That's also why scripts go through so many revisions and rewrites. When you get to that final product that you want, you shoot multiple different endings. You shoot multiple different ways that a character, or let's just say a scene, can come to the conclusion of it. So if it doesn't work for test audience with this, you've already got stuff shot for the other part, and you can just weave and wind while you're editing. Now, pickups, yes, that's no big deal at all. Pretty much every film does pickups. But reshooting, which is kind of almost what he has to say right here, he's not talking about pickups. He's talking about you don't want to have to shoot again. So I'm twiddling my little thumbs about that one. He also goes on to say, I really like being able to say, you know what? I wish I had a shot that fist hitting, and that's where we're talking about pickups. So I tend to go back and pick that kind of stuff up. There we go, using that word again. So it wouldn't be anything major, but those kinds of things, yeah, I'll cover you a couple more things like that. So this is the news so far, the newest news that we have about the James Gunn, because they said that they were going into reshoots. They didn't say they're going into pickup shots. I mean, even Lord of the Rings did pickup shots later on as they were editing throughout the Fellowship, Return of the King, and the Two Towers, not in that order. But they did that with those films as well. And that's to be expected of any film. The reason, one thing that sits in my craw is that he seems so defensive about it. Like, oh no, my way was the best way. It was always the best way. I hate doing things over again. It's like, well, sometimes you have to, man. That's kind of the nature of the business, kind of the nature of storytelling. Maybe it seems like you weren't truly prepared for it in the first place. And you've been kind of like iffy on the marketing the entire time anyway. But why are you being so iffy about, no, these are just pickups? I don't know. I think if you're just more straightforward with people would give you more leeway. If it's like, yeah, we thought this worked. When we put it to camera, it didn't work out as well. So we're going to have to reshoot this part, but don't worry. The movie is coming out. We're working double time to get it to you on time. That would be the best marketing strategy out there. Honesty. Who'da thunk? Do you guys have anything to say about this? This is Malty from Mouth and Malty. We'd love to hear it down in the comment section below. Y'all have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.